Oh, gotta unmute myself first. All right. Hello, everybody. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get started and let everyone, file in over the next couple minutes. But let's just start getting into it. I'm looking at a little spider crawling across my keyboard. Anyways, hello. Hi, everyone. I hope you're all having a lovely evening. Thank you for stopping in today. I know I had to cancel last week, but I appreciate you coming back for more. So Eternals. Eternals is the name of the game today. So, let's cut the shit and just get right into it. I think actually, let me get a show of, what do I call a show of hands in the chat, but like a show of responses? Show of chat. How many people have actually seen it, I guess, in this spoiler heavy chat? Because from what I'm seeing online, it seems like there's pretty mixed reviews for this one. And not even just online, just in like my experience in life. The reviews seem pretty mixed. When I saw it with 4 other people. And it seemed literally split half and half with the group that I was in. Half didn't like it, half did like it. And then from a couple of friends that have seen it, that have texted me about it. Yeah, some love it, some don't. It's definitely a mixed bag here. So, and I would say my feelings about it are reflective of the mixed bag reviews that are out there right now. I have a mixed bag of feelings about the movie. That's for damn sure. Let's see, sorry to right in the mic. All right, so it seems like a lot of you have seen it and that a lot of you really liked it. Haven't seen it. We got one in there. Well, Corey Taylor, put your earmuffs on because spoilers are coming in hot. Same for you, Mr. T.O. Morrow. So I guess this is my preface to my review. I unfortunately didn't see it opening night because, as life would have it, I was a little too stressed out, a little too many things going on, so I couldn't see it opening night. But I did see it a couple of days afterwards, and unfortunately, my theater going experience was not great. I didn't have a great theater, which kind of really sucked. I sat next to a dude and his like 3 kids, and they would just not shut the fuck up, and they were just making all this noise. They all had the crinkliest jackets ever mixed with the crinkliest snacks of all time, and like the actual volume in my theater wasn't loud enough. You know what I mean? Like, when you're in a theater and it's like, I shouldn't be able to hear the guy chomping on his chips next to me in an action scene. Like, it should be so loud that it drowns all the other sounds out. But so that, I'm not gonna lie, it did it skewed my experience just a little bit, and it's definitely a movie I'm gonna go back and watch a couple of times to really see how I feel about it. But these are just kind of my initial feelings just after a first viewing and like fresh off the dome. I would say overall it was a B minus. Ron C., thank you for the early, very generous super chat. I appreciate it. I'll get into those at the end. I would say a B minus C plus, somewhere in that range. Because I really enjoyed it, but there were just some parts of the movie that really were just not strong enough to make up for the really, really good parts, if that makes sense. So I guess first and foremost, I appreciate what the Eternals was trying to do. As someone who loves cinema and someone who loves the movie-going experience and who loves, artistic liberties and, seeing someone artistically express themselves in a project, I was very, very excited for Chloe Zhao on that part. She's just fresh off an Oscar win. This was going to be a totally new avenue in terms of style and storytelling for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I think it was in desperate need of. I mean, Marvel, the MCU in general, is going through this kind of growing pains phase where they don't really know what to do with themselves, right? They did the big to-do, right? They ended Infinity War, they ended Endgame, and then they kind of had to start from scratch. And so far, it hasn't really been a strong upward trajectory. It's kind of been messy. It's kind of been all over the place. Some have been good, a lot hasn't been. And they haven't really established a good pacing. You know, COVID was obviously a huge part of that. So this was a very, the word I'm hearing a lot when describing this movie that I think is very apt is it was a bold movie. It was an ambitious movie, not just in terms of storytelling, in terms of style, in terms of, you know, cast, visual. It was a very ambitious movie. And unfortunately, a lot of the ambitions didn't really make up for the outcome that for the entire experience of the movie as a whole. But I really, really, really appreciated the ambition, and I really, God, I really hope this doesn't discourage Marvel from taking more risks and being a little bit more ambitious going forward, because like the cookie cutter thing is not going to last forever. Like this mold that's worked with them forever has gone stale. Like nothing gold can stay, guys. So I think Marvel knows that its golden era has passed, and it really needs to figure out what it wants to do to keep people in line, not in line, online. What am I trying to say? Yeah, but I would say still B-, because it was still an enjoyable experience overall. I would say visually it was very, very interesting, very, very cool. I thought just in terms of the set, they really did have so many set pieces and so many different locations in this movie. It was kind of astounding. And the attention to detail and the high quality of each one of those set pieces I thought was really awesome and really incredible. I liked the way that they visualized a lot of the magic and the like weird ethereal like space tech that comes with being a celestial and comes with being an eternal. Like a lot of the concepts can be at face value very cheesy, very tacky, kind of sometimes hard to fathom. But the way that they did like the kind of gold lines, it was very simple, very straightforward. It was very universal in the way that people used all of their different powers in different ways. I thought that was very well done. Like I liked that the powers were connected by the visual representation of them, but they were all like utilized in different ways. I thought that was super interesting. I really, really liked that. I thought thematically it was doing something really cool. I'm a little disappointed that with the way the third act played out and the way the story overall came across, like thematically, it kind of got like lost in the sauce. But I do think what it was trying to achieve was very interesting. I've heard that Chloe Zhao say that it was kind of like a love letter to the world, which I think is very beautiful, and I actually felt in the movie itself. I also heard that Kevin Feige said that it was one of the best movie pitches that he had ever heard in his life, and that she said that she came at like the way that she pitched it was she like zoomed into like a macro picture of a macro picture of sand, and when you zoom in you see all the sand is just like built, it looks like all these different gems with different shapes and different textures and different colors and different tones, and it's kind of like this infinite representation of something that's very small. And just, you know, and she quoted this like Walt Whitman poem, I think that was like, was it Walt Whitman? Could have been. I can't remember off the top of my head, but basically saying that like the infinite beauty of the world can be found in even the smallest of things, you know, fractals. If I have a fractal tattoo for that exact reason, you know, infinite beauty and infinite structures in the world. And she really, really understood that. And I think that's what Kevin Feige wanted. He wanted someone who understood the magnanimity of telling a story like something of the Eternals, because the Eternals is not an easy story to tell, and it's not an easy thing for people to get on board with. It's very, very heady. It's very and it's never really, I don't think it's grabbed people in the way that other things in the Marvel comic books, I'm talking about like all the way to the comic books, like the Eternals are like cool and all, but they're not the thing that I think brings people back for more. So it's a pretty heavy assignment, and I think she did pretty good with what she had and what she did. But I will say, yeah, visually it was very cool. I'm kind of bitch. I'm kind of all over the place, but you know what? Circle back. I was talking about visually. Okay, visually. Yes, good. Check box. Boom. what I get. Okay, now I know what I was trying to say. When there is so much to do, when you want to tell a really bold, ambitious story that almost seems larger than life and like larger and hard to conceive, it's sometimes it's a very difficult and like hard line to walk. Meaning, I think we saw a good example of this, if we're going to keep with Marvel examples, was Age of Ultron, right? Like Avengers, Joss Whedon's Avengers was fucking awesome, and he did an incredible job with that. But then when you get into the Age of Ultron of it all, where it's just like you're doing so much more with so many more stories and going in a more expansive direction, he really struggled to be able to tell the character stories that he wanted to tell while still telling like a cohesive, efficient story. And I actually really like Age of Ultron. I really, really enjoyed it, and I think. But it was a little messy. It was a little messy. It was a little hard to keep track of. And I think that that's what this movie had similar issues with as well. But not everyone can be the Russo brothers, dude. Like the Russo brothers are like aliens, man. Their ability to, craft like Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame is pretty fucking special, man. Like it's pretty insane that they were able to pull that kind of shit off. And honestly, not everything in that is perfect too, because there are elements of like Joss Whedon's Age of Ultron that I really, really enjoy that the Russo brothers with their strengths didn't really know what to do with. And like, my prime example in that is like the Natasha Bruce romance, like Black Widow and Hulk. I thought Joss Whedon, he's very much a character writer. He's very much, he's the kind of person that will make you like fall in love with a character or relationship after like 2 lines, because that's like what his strength is. The Russo brothers they don't know how to do that. They got Bruce and Natasha and they were like, what the fuck did we do with this? So they just threw it out, which is, it always made me a little bit sad because I love to see romance, but that's not where their strengths were. And Chloe Zhao, like, she's a storyteller. And I think that she really wanted to tell a story with this movie that maybe didn't really translate to the MCU brand or like timeline or whatever it was. It seems like they had someone who was trying to do, I'm going to keep coming back to bold and ambitious. We started fucking counter for how many times I say bold and ambitious. Someone who wanted to do a really bold and ambitious story and like almost got there, but was kind of like cut off at the knees, just like a little bit. So like it could have been a really awesome and interesting story / movie, but it just, at the end of the day, like the end product just like wasn't as good as it could have been. But I still appreciate, everything that she was trying to accomplish and what she was trying to achieve in that regard. And, like the music I thought was really cool with the whole experience of it. Although I think the MCU in general has a problem with like its scores. Like I don't think they're very unique. I don't think they don't really leave like an emotional impact in the way that movie scores are supposed to. I was actually very impressed by the Loki music recently. I thought that was like one of the better Marvel scores to date. And this one had good like sound and music to it, but it wasn't unique enough. And I thought that, and I just coming off of a project like Dune that was like also similar, like when it's very long, it's very drawn out, it's very like artistic, the music in that movie really like elevates this more, I guess, dull experience. And so if it had maybe a more unique score that could have helped, possibly, who knows? Inside burp. Oh, what up? So you finally made it back to the Empire. And then blah, blah, blah. In that same thread, kind of like talking about Dune and, what she was trying to achieve and what actually happened. I do think that, this movie was an example of a movie that was a little bit more artistic as opposed to being like a fun Marvel experience, the classic Marvel Cinematic Universe experience. And I just don't know if people are going to be down for that. I could see why it would get super mixed reviews, that you're just, if you just want your classic, good, fun Marvel movie, you're going to come into this one and be like, oh, what the fuck, man? This is just like, it's a lot of slow movements, but what can you do? Yeah, so I guess we can kind of, from that, get into like the characters of it all, because man, oh man, did we have a stacked cast of characters and a lot of threads to follow. And some were done well, some weren't done so well, and some were done well and then kind of dropped off. You know, it was a little bit all over the place, but this was a definitely character heavy movie. And I think, you know, just for like a general overview of it all, I think that generally speaking, for how many characters they were trying to connect you to, they did a pretty good job of like getting everybody on the table. I will say I was starkly aware, because there were so many characters in this movie, like of very, very specific nuances of each actor, not just characters, but like the actors. Like because it was such a stacked cast and there were so many people playing off each other, it was very, very apparent to me like who was good and who was not so good and who had chemistry and who did it, which comes to my biggest complaint of the entire movie. And I think what actually hurt the movie the most, if I'm being honest, was the chemistry between Cersei and Icarus. I think was fucking flat, like bad. And I think that really fucked up the movie, because Cersei and Icarus were the main characters, and like the entire movie was kind of about their love, like throughout the ages. Like, yes, the movie was about many things, but that was like the emotional thread of the movie was Cersei and Icarus, Cersei and Icarus, Cersei and Icarus. And while they're good actors individually, together, dude, I did not buy it for a second. I was not feeling it, and I knew that I knew it was off from the minute I saw it. And I was like, no, god damn it, like this is supposed to be like this is a movie about like romance and love, and the two main leads don't have it. Like, I'm so sad, I'm so pissed about this already. And it became even more like harsh, like stark awareness, stark contrast when they did like the quick interspersing of the scenes with Makari and Druig, who had fantastic chemistry. Oh my God, they were on the screen together for like maybe 2 scenes for 2 seconds, and their chemistry was way better, way better than Cersei and Icarus, like by far. And I think it really suffered because of that, because their play off each other was really supposed to be what kind of engaged you throughout the movie, and it just wasn't it. And you know, it was interesting because when I was watching them in their scenes together, I was kind of like, you know, becoming a little bit of a hater, because I was just like, damn, dude, they are not doing well in this movie. Like, I am not happy with these performances. And then in the later scenes with Icarus alone, he was incredible. So I was just like, damn, is it really just them two together? Because when they were separated, like, I thought that they did better in their scenes without each other. Like, I don't know, dude. They should have screen tested it or something, or I don't know what the fuck was going on, but I was not happy with it. And you guys know, any of my OGs know, I have been wanting Marvel characters to fuck since the beginning. It's all I talk about. I just like watching fictional characters fuck each other. It's just all I ever wanted, and I finally got it, and it was so stale. It was so lame. I was so sad about it. I was like, what? And then it was over, and I was just like, damn, that wasn't even hot though. It wasn't even steamy. It wasn't even cute. Like, it was just like boring and abrupt. I was so sad about it. I was like, well, there goes my fucking only Marvel sex scene. I mean, MCU sex scene. I'm talking about the Luke Cage and Jessica Jones one. No. Eyebrow raise. That one is awesome. That one is so hot. I love that one a lot. But yeah, it was a very, and I don't, you know, it's fine. I don't need a raunchy sex scene. Like, it's obviously a Disney movie. It's obviously PG-13. It's going to be a little tame. It's going to be a little more like suggested, as opposed to just like, but like, in that regard, I wanted it to be more romantic. I wanted it to be more tender and sweet and loving, and I was just like, damn, these people are like this love story is thin. Not into it. And it's actually sorry, I just like spit on myself. It's always interesting when you watch movies with other people and you get like their reactions to it, and like my friends were like actually like LOL, like laugh out loud laughing at Icarus standing like 5 paces back, watching her, fall in love with these humans, which I actually didn't think was that bad. I thought it was actually kind of cute. I was like, oh, it's just like him watching her love humanity is like what is softening him. I get it, but it goes to show like the on-screen chemistry like wasn't there, like it wasn't strong enough to sell those scenes, and it sucked. It really sucked, because I mean, all I like is that steamy chemistry, and I just didn't get it with our 2 main characters. Such a bummer. And Gemma Chan in general, I just don't know if this was the role for her, man. Like, she's not a bad actress. Like, I've seen her in other shit. Like, I just don't know if this was the role for her. Like, the whole movie was about her, and she just like was not a strong enough leading lady in my opinion to carry the entire movie, and I was pretty disappointed with her. I am not going to lie. But then that segues into someone who was, I mean, I'm sure you guys will see it coming, who I'm about to mention next, but Miss Angelina Jolie. Holy shit, dude. And this is what I'm talking about with like, because it was like, so there was such an interplay and like an interfacing between all these characters against each other. You really see who's a good actor and who is not. And then it's like Angelina Jolie comes on screen, and then you're just like, oh shit, it's like she won an Oscar for this or something. It's like she's an award winning, like she has a like she, is a very she's a pro. She's a fucking pro. And you know what? She's got some of that like old Hollywood like star power on her. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, people just react to her differently. Like, and I'm talking just like as an audience member, like she's still kind of like celebrity that people will go to a movie just to see her, which is I think a very interesting concept and is not as prevalent these days. But her on screen was just like pow. Like, they're so lucky that she was the one who so I'm like, fix my hair real quick, that she was the one who did like, because she really was able to sell those crazed like mad weary scenes very, very well, and she was really fantastic. I'm the kind of person, like, I'm such a weenie. Like, if I see someone cry like really, in a very genuine or what am I trying to say? Not like it has to be super painful, but if like someone really means it and someone really sells it, if I see someone cry, I'll start crying. It doesn't take much for me to get emotionally wrapped up in a scene. And she cries, I cry. It's kind of like that. That's what I'm trying to say. And I felt like even the guy, so talking about chemistry, right? Like, her and the guy who played Gilgamesh had pretty good chemistry, but honestly, I would say like, because he wasn't that great. Like, he wasn't that great of an actor. He wasn't like hitting his lines very well. All I can say is he's fucking lucky that his scene partner was Angelina Jolie, because she basically carried their chemistry and their interactions like on her back alone. It was like, not to say that he was just like, he did nothing. Like, he still was good enough to be like a reactive scene partner for her, but she definitely pulled the weight in that. And so that's when I'm talking about like, star power versus like other things. Like, she's a good enough actor to I think carry the where some things are a little bit weaker, she can pick up the slack, and I feel like that was missing in other elements of the movie. Salma Hayek, I think she's a fucking powerhouse when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, she's definitely a pro. She was a joy to watch. And actually, I was very, very impressed with the chick who plays Sprite. She was incredible. Like, I was actually very, very, I liked Sprite a lot just in general. That was like another thing that I felt like they were trying to get at, but it like kind of Disney cut it off at the knees. There's a really interesting story to tell there with Sprite, like with being a fucking eternal, immortal being stuck in a child's body. Like, that's some weird shit. Like, that can get, like, if you really wanted to go there, you could tell some really, really weird, really, really fucked up shit, but they're not gonna go there. But they kind of went there. And I think that they had to neuter a lot of the potential of where Sprite could go, but the actor who played Sprite really made up for that by just being like a really dynamic, like scene stealer kind of performer. So I was actually very, very, very impressed with her. I thought she was fucking awesome. I thought she did a great job. I'm glad that she got like more screen time than a lot of the other Eternals. Let's see. Who else am I missing? There's so many Eternals, you guys. Like, God. Oh, there's Festos. That was really cool. He came in so late to the movie, though. Yeah, there was a lot of messiness, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the third act really, really suffered in this movie for sure. And he just came in so late that I kind of forgot that he was like in the Eternals. But then he did show up, and he was still like, he was very charismatic. What is he? Is he in Atlanta? What else have I seen him in? But he's charming. He's cool. I really liked. I mean, the Hiroshima scene was very sad, and I really liked what they were like. I liked in general what they were trying to tell with all of these characters, and I thought that part of the movie was really, really awesome, and I was very, very much enjoying, and I thought was really, really cool. I just think that like when we got all of these characters together, it kind of suffered a little bit, which is like what happens in most movies. Like it's all about the buildup. It's all about the buildup and the fun, like, oh, and then they get together and it's just not as cool as you thought it would be. But when he finally showed up, cool. Showed up really late though. Isn't it so funny, the people that off the top of my head, because I'm about to say Kumail, and it's just like there's some people by name base, and some base you just refer to them as their characters. And Kumail was good. A little confused on his character, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he was the intro to like the best character of the entire story, which is Karun, I think was his name. I mean, God, like, talk about a scene stealer. He was he was just like an ace, just laser beams with his delivery. He did everything so good. He had the perfect tone, the perfect timing. Like, he really did hit his lines like a sharpshooter. And honestly, like, not even just in like comedic timing way, like emotional timing way. Like, when I started crying when he was walking out of the room and he was just like thanking them for their service. I was like, damn, like this guy was like the sleeper hit in this movie. Like, damn, Karun, way to come hard with the like levity, with the emotional time, or the comedic timing, and then like the emotional parts. Like, good for you, dude. Like, hell yeah, bro. Way to take a side character and then be like the number one stunner in the movie. But yeah, Kumail, he was obviously funny. He's a funny guy. A good thing he's so funny, because I'm not gonna lie, some of the jokes that he was making were like not good. But he is a funny guy, so that worked for him. I actually did think it was very interesting that I liked the stance that he took in the third act, even though it was very fucking weird that he just like disappeared from the final fight. I thought that was a very strange move. I was like, he's just not gonna be here, like he's just not gonna show up until, I don't know. But I actually like conceptually liked his stance, which is just like, because that's what would happen in a group. Some people would be like, I don't agree with you, but it's like, he's like, I'm not in love with Icarus, I'm not just gonna like go off and like be his pawn, but I don't want to fight you guys, I love you guys, but I don't agree with you, so I'm gonna go. Like, I don't know what to do here, you guys are kind of tying my hands, I'm not gonna be a part of this, like I don't agree. Which I thought was a very interesting way to tell a group dynamic, because that's probably what would happen. And who else am I missing? Makari was a lot of fun. Totally shipping her and Druid. Very cute stuff. Obviously the representation in this movie was very, very cool. I actually feel very strongly, at one point in my life, I really do want to learn sign language, because my friend Amir, hey Amir, shout out to Amir if you watch this, definitely pointed it out to me, that he's like, everyone should know sign language, because if everyone knew a universal sign language, then there would be no language barrier. And I was like, fuck, you're correct. And I was like, that would be fucking awesome. If everyone just knew like a basic universal sign language and we could all communicate. Oh my God, that'd be so awesome. So I love the representation in this movie. It really was the diversity that, you know, they've been hinting at, but they finally, you know, walked the walk and talked the talk in this movie. So that was fucking awesome and like really, really cool to see. Did I get, did I get every character? Druid was cool. Am I missing anybody? Oh, I guess I'm missing the deviant. Was he a character? Guys, I guess I'll leave that up to you. Was the deviant a character? It's still a little hard for me to know because they were like setting him up to be this antagonist, you know, that was gaining sentience and, you know, being this this moral antagonist for the Eternals, being like, you think your fight is in vain, blah, blah, blah. But then he just kind of, nothing really came of it. And then he just died. And I actually don't even know if he was super necessary. Like, he could have just been a deviant monster and it would have achieved the same result, in my opinion. I think it was just like a little extra bit of meat in the story that kind of like weighed it down. And meaning like the payoff wasn't good enough to justify it in the end. I get what it was trying to do and I appreciate it, but at the end of the day, maybe it should have ended up on the cutting room floor. I don't know. It was a little much. I'm still not sure. Was the main thing he was trying to achieve, was that Thena's storyline? Did she need it? I don't know. I don't know. The deviant part was a little bit weird. I thought they looked good. I kind of wanted them to be a little freakier because I think it was like in the Neil Gaiman Eternals comics that I read that they said the deviants were just like these like mutated like messes. Like every deviant looked different and they were all creepy. They were all wrong. Like they all looked wrong and every single one of them looked different. So I thought that was a really cool concept. These ones just kind of looked like animals, which was fine. I think they still had like a really cool design. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not hating on it. What else am I missing? What haven't I talked about yet? The action. I guess the action, we can talk about the action. The action was sometimes good, sometimes great, but not overall, like nothing special, I don't think. Like I really liked the final fight scene, like against Icarus. I thought that was really, really cool. I thought the Makari versus Icarus was probably the strongest action moment in that movie. I thought that was fucking awesome. That one was like visceral. I was really into that. Them fighting the deviants too in the village, like that one was actually really cool. That one was like very for fighting a bunch of CGI characters, more intense and more visceral than I expected it to be. So I actually really appreciated that. So that was actually pretty good. What other action scenes were? Those the only two action scenes in the movie. There were like the beginning action scenes with like them just showing like a montage of the Eternals facing the Deviants. That was okay. Nothing special. But those two scenes actually stood out to me as very, very cool, very, very fun. Blah, blah, blah. Am I missing anything? Sorry, I'm like looking at some very poor notes I took that are not very helpful right now because I just did not have time. So this is just all, me trying to come up with shit. I think that's basically it. I think that's all I got when it comes to the Eternal stuff. All in all, it was a fun movie go experience. I'm definitely gonna watch it again. I think there was a lot of stuff that I missed that I think I could find to appreciate in a second or third viewing. I mean, we got an Oscar winning director on our hands here, man. Like, I don't think it's like, oh, it wasn't that cool, it wasn't fun, fuck that movie. I think I can go back and really find some beautiful and artistic things to appreciate it, so I will. Also, because that fucking dad and the kids sitting next to me really fucked up my movie. Oh my god, and the most important thing, I saw the movie in 40x. I'm never doing that again. Like, the way it was described to me, I thought it was just going to be like the seats moved and it was like a little bit of extra stuff here and there to make it more of like an experience, but that was like a fucking roller coaster. At some point I stopped participating in it. Like, I just leaned forward in my seat so it wouldn't like do any of the stuff anymore, and I just, yeah, I'm never doing that again. It was so fucking distracting. I hated it. I really fucking hated it. It was so over the top in some parts. So I definitely just want to go back and watch it like normal. But my friends that I wanted to see it with, and I wanted to see it with the friends because like fuck, I wanted it to be a social experience. Wanted to see it in 40x. I saw it in 40x, and it was not it. I'm pretty, and like I'm a little mad that I saw it in 40x. But I'm definitely gonna go back and watch it again. But I think I'm going to, go into it knowing that I'm probably just going to be fucking bored in the last part of the movie because the third act was kind of a mess. Like, at the end of the day, the third act really brought this movie down for sure. Which, I mean, I talk about this in a lot of reviews that I do. Like, the third act is a hard thing to do. It's really, really hard to wrap up a movie. And it's usually where most movies flop and, lose their footing, and then to be able to land the third act is what separates like a good movie from a great movie. And the third act of this movie was just a fucking mess. Like, it just like it didn't know how to like wrap things up in a concise way. It didn't know how to properly send off its characters. I mean, guys, can we talk about Icarus like flying into the sun? It was kind of, I don't know how I wanted him to go out, but like I laughed out loud. It was kind of silly. It was kind of dramatic. I mean, I don't know what I wanted. I actually think I might have just liked the idea of him just like disappearing and like you not like knowing what happened to him. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think I wanted a lot more from this grand story that they were setting up in the rest of the movie. And then when it got to the end of it, I was left wanting, I guess is what I would say. And it's not even just like plot wise, I would say like kind of performance wise too. Like, the ending performances from like Gemma Chan were not what I wanted. The ending performance from Icarus was actually pretty bomb. He did a really good job at the end of the movie. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay, you know what? You a great actor. There's a reason why you're in this movie. Okay, I'll like it. I'll allow it. But yeah, it was just a big movie. It's a big movie with a big old just a big floppy ending. But overall, good experience. I will go watch it again. That's my end result. I think I'm repeating myself a lot in this review, but what can you do? What can you do? So now I guess we can kind of talk about more spoilers, the end credits scene. So you guys, we're back. We're back in the Marvel expose game, the Marvel teasing game. A little tickle and a little tease from the MCU. We're finally getting back into teasing projects to come, which is fun. I'm excited. We're finally not just getting Val in every end credit scene assembling God knows whatever the fuck she's doing. We're actually getting some real like lore. We're getting some real story set up, so that was like super cool to see. Star Fox, both Star Fox and Black Knight I'm not like super familiar with. Weirdly, I recognized Pip the Troll more than I recognized Star Fox, and maybe it's just because like Pip the Troll pops up a lot randomly. Like, he just like shows up in random lists. I was like, oh shit, and then he was like Patton Oswalt, and I was like, okay, let's go. I don't really, he looked kind of silly, but it was fine. Yeah, the Star Fox ending was cool. I liked what it implied. I liked the implication of, Thanos being more tied into it. more tied into this than we initially thought. I like this continuation possibly for the internals into maybe a more involved storyline. That's for damn sure. But I was definitely way more hyped on the Black Knight end credit scene. Hold on, pause for Jake. Fun fact: it's really hard to drink out of a can when you have lip gloss. Have you ever seen pictures of the Kardashians eating salads? That's how I feel. Trying to drink out of a can with lip gloss. Anyway, the Black Knight scene, I was definitely way more hyped for because I think, I don't know what, you know, I don't know what, I am more hyped for the Black Knight end credit scene because I'm just like really happy for Kit Harington as like a person. I feel like he really needs this, you know what I'm saying? like I'm just like rooting for that guy. Like I want him to do well and like, you know, be a part of something really successful and have like a long-standing project because like Kit Harington's fucking awesome. Like he's awesome. He's a fantastic actor. I mean, I'm sure when Marvel picked him to be Black Knight, they're like, well, that's, you know, fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars we have to save and we get to save in sword training. This guy, if anyone knows how to do a motherfucking sword action scene, it is Kit Harington. I'd say he's probably the best in the game, like the best out there when it comes to like, you know, sword combat scenes. So they really did get, you know, the A1 number one best one out there. But also, you know, I don't know if you guys like followed it at all, but like Kit Harington was like not okay when Game of Thrones ended. Like that boy was fucking sad, like because Game of Thrones was his life. Like he really loved Game of Thrones, and you know that they were in it for like 10 years or whatever. So he was like super wrapped up in the project. He loved the community. He loved like, he liked having a job that was like 10 years long and being super involved in something. So he was like, I mean, if you watch the Game of Thrones documentary, he's like fucking crying. And then I think he went to rehab afterwards because he was just like, you know, struggling with he was not okay. He was not okay when Game of Thrones ended. And so now that he's in the MCU, I'm just like happy for that boy. I'm just like, good, dude. Like, I'm glad for you to get in a super complicated, long-standing job again. You'll be working for a while. You can really sink your teeth into this. And he loves it. So I'm just like happy for him. And he's great. And I think he's going to bring a lot to a role that maybe not a lot of people know about. And also, like, you know, Black Knight, also someone I'm not like super familiar with, but he's just like been in like, you know, he's someone that just like shows up a lot too. Like he's been in like everything, like fucking the Avengers. He's part of the Secret Invasion storyline, right? I think because when he's in that British MI13 or whatever the fuck it's called, he's just like been in a lot of shit. And God, who else was he? You know, tied to vampire stuff. Oh, more vampire references. Oh yeah, guys. Spoiler alert, though. That was Mahershala Ali who spoke in that scene. Like when he first spoke, literally me and my friends were like tripping. We were like, who was that? Was that Doctor Strange? Was that the Watcher guy? Like we were just like fucking, we were tripping. We did not know who that was. But with Mahershala Ali, I feel like they've just been like dropping vampire references a lot lately. Like they've just been like blip, like sprinkling it in, and they're really just like setting it up for like the vampire universe in the MCU, which I'm like very excited about. So yeah, I just think he has a lot of ties for some really fun projects going forward. A lot of like darks. I mean, he also hangs out with Deadpool, so like maybe that'll be like a thing that they like bring in later. Who knows? But like if you know, you guys don't know, he has a blade, the ebony blade, and it like the more you use it, the more it like drives you mad, like with bloodlust. And like that's just like a fucking fun story. I'm fun for some refreshing, some more dark stuff in the MCU. So I just think it's gonna be great. Kit Harington's a star, so I'm happy to see more of him. So I was definitely more hyped on that. And I think like him and Cersei have some like cool collaborations too, meaning like the way that her powers and his like interact are very interesting. So I'm just excited to see that. I was just happy to go to the theaters and see some end credits scene that like really It's fun at the movies again, you guys. Like the Shang-Chi end credit scene was very, very hold on, burp. Oh, it's like in there. Um the Shang-Chi end credit scene was very, like the days of Marvel past, it really like excited you for what's to come. And then like, I mean, no, this isn't Marvel, but then Venom was like, oh, it had like Spider-Man in it. And then this one, I'm just like, oh shit, we're like getting stuff. We're back to doing cool stuff. So I don't know. I'm excited. It was really fun. I'm gonna go back and see it. But how are you guys feeling? I've just ran my mouth for like 45 minutes, and so I'd love to hear from you. I'm gonna go back now and scroll through the chat and look at what I missed. Go back and read some of these super chats first. First one was from Ron C. Very generous. Thank you, good sir. I'll give Eternals a C minus. Too much drama within the Eternal circle, plus opposite from the comics. You know what? I kind of disagree. I liked the drama between them. I think it made them very human. I think it made, because like that's what if you, in any group, I mean, if anyone's ever like been in high school or college and had to do a group project knows that like groups means drama. Like there's always like no group is going to be perfect all the time. Have you ever had Thanksgiving with your family? Like group dynamics are a thing. So I thought that I actually liked that aspect of it a lot. I just think that it was like stopping and starting in ways where it like couldn't really complete what it was trying to do within these group dynamics. Like some relationships just like didn't go deep enough in the way that I would. Like, I mean, I really wanted to see them really explore like the Sprite and Icarus weirdness, but that's way too weird. That's way too weird for the MCU. They are not fucking touching that shit with a 10-foot pole. But that's like I wanted to see more of that. I really actually wanted to see more drama between Phastos and like the rest of the group. Like this whole idea that he like gave up on humanity and kind of like was like anti-eternal, anti-human. Like I wanted to see like what that kind of drama was like, and so I was very interested in that. So yeah, I actually wanted more drama. I'm not gonna lie, more drama. But then it's like then that would have made the movie even longer, and there's no way that movie could have been 2 parts. Like if that was a 2-part movie, the first part would have just been like not good. Ron C. also said, wow, you are very generous today. Thank you so much, sir. I very much appreciate that. I had the theater all to myself. Awesome. You lucky fuck. You lucky fuck. I'm so annoyed. I'm like really honestly bitter about my theater experience. And I think it was just the 4DX thing, because I just don't think the sound design was like good enough in that theater. Because I think if I was in another theater, it's not like I haven't sat next to annoying people before. That's like the gamble you take when you sit in a movie theater. But usually the sound is like, surrounding enough that it kind of drowns out the small things, like people chomping away and opening a super. And I definitely did have to give some chastising looks. Like I was just like, and he was like, then was trying to like open it quietly, because every quiet and dramatic scene, he would just be like, and I was just like, bro, like you gotta like have some common sense here, like have some movie etiquette. Like you can hear when your shit is being annoying. So it's like he did start to like control it a little bit more and telling his kids to shut up a little bit, because they would just like talk to each other about stuff. I was like, you guys, come on, like we know better. We all know we know better. Ananthakar, you said, love the relationship between Thena and Gilgamesh. What do you know about Star Fox? Those post-credit scenes leave you wanting more. Take my money. Oh, right, so dead of nerds. I actually really liked the relationship between Athena and Gilgamesh as well. I will say a lot of the things I loved about that relationship really came from Miss Angelina Jolie. She's just so good, man. Like she's so, and you know what? She did it. This isn't the first time I've seen her do this. Like those Maleficent movies, would have been fucking dog shit without her. Like, because they were just not good movies. And it's like, I was like actually really hyped for those because like I really like Disney villains because I'm like, you know, I was an angsty teen who loves Disney movies. So shocker. I really like Disney villains, and Maleficent was always my favorite. I don't know why. I just got very fascinated with her when I was younger. And so when I saw like my favorite bitch playing my favorite villain, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Was this made specifically for me? Sorry, I keep itching my nose. I have allergies. I was very excited, and then I saw the movies, and they were just like bad, like objectively a bad movie. Like the CGI in it was horrible, the story was not great, everything was very thin. But she was just like so good, like performance wise in that movie, that she took it from a fucking D to like a C. You know what I mean? Just meaning like if anyone else had played Maleficent, that movie would just been like a fucking flop, a flop and a half. But like she made it watchable, and props to her. And I feel like she did that a lot with this relationship with her in Gilgamesh. I just thought it was like really, really sweet and really, really cute, and I just like loved it. And this is what I mean. I love the drama and the dynamics of like this little relate, and them all just like pairing off and having like these little things. Like I love the like hearing that Kingo and like Sprite were like kind of like really close friends, but then like he just like left her, and then like, you know, it's just like, you know, it's like 5,000 years, right? It's like it's just like in any, you know, long-standing relationship, sometimes you're closer to other people, and then sometimes you fall off, and then you get closer again, and then for, you know, a specific time in your life you relate to somebody else, and they're like what you need in that moment. And so it's just like people are like coming together, coming apart. I loved that. I thought it was really, really cool. I don't know much about Star Fox other than he is Thanos' brother. That he is also known as Eros, the god of love. I also know that he's like a Lothario, you know, he's kind of like a creep, god of love, you know, all that jazz. I think he gets like accused of like some kind of sexual misconduct, whether it's I don't know that, and he was like defended by She-Hulk. I don't know if they're gonna go down that route for it. But yeah, he has ties to Adam Warlock, right? If I'm not mistaken. But I can't remember all the like the ins and outs of it. So go watch New Rockstars. I'm sure they've done like a everything you need to know video. They're the best when it comes to that shit. And I think that is it for the super chat. So I will go down to the regular chat, read a few of these, and then kind of wrap it up a little bit. I think Justin Simone said, I think Black Knight's going to be on the MCU iteration of Midnight Suns. I think so too. Now that they're tying it to Blade, I think that's going to be like a whole other subsect of the MCU, and I'm here for it. Therese says, I think I'm going to go to, or what? That is not what it said. What am I reading right now? It says, I think they're going to tie the Ebony Blade more directly to Blade. Yes. Isn't there a thing where like the blade that Black Knight gets is actually a fake from Morbius or something, and it's tied to Blade somehow? Sorry, I'm like really hitting with those references right now, you guys. And that's like a weird tie to Blade. So that's probably how they're gonna maybe wrap them all in it. Still worried about the PG-13 Blade. That's a real fear. That is definitely a real fear. I want it to be dark and weird. And who knows? Or maybe that'll be the first foray. Is that is foray a word? What did I just say? Maybe that'll be the Marvel's first dipping up the toe into the R-rated universe. That would be interesting. What do you guys think is going to be MCU's first R-rated thing if they ever do it? Shang-Chi sucked and its end credits were worse. Blasphemy. I loved Shang-Chi. How dare you? Ren says on the wow. Okay, Ren says On the first watch, was easily fitted into my top 5 MCU films, and with the second watch, arguably favorite MCU film all time. It's either this or Doctor Strange. Much love, y'all. If you love Doctor Strange, I could see that. And you know what? My best friend, Allie, fucking loves this movie. Like, she texted me immediately afterwards and was like, I fucking loved that movie. Like, loved, like 10 out of 10. So that's what I mean. It's like very, very mixed reviews. And so it's, you know, definitely worth a watch. Definitely worth a watch in my opinion. Yeah, and Teresa, it's I have it in my top 20, somewhere between 12 and 20. I just have to meditate on it for another week, maybe another viewing. And like that adds to the mystery of it all too, because I kind of feel the same way, where like I'm not ready to write it off. Like it's one of those movies that like definitely doesn't like, I don't know, but maybe it was different for Ren. So like for some it's stunned, but for me personally, it definitely didn't like stun me in the beginning. But I do think it's a movie worth watching and worth appreciating, and that I could come to appreciate more later. So yeah, that's, you know, it's what an artist does, right? They make an experience for you to experience. More Makari and Druid, please. I feel that. I was like, the 2 seconds I saw them on screen, I was like, can we have more of them? Because they're very cute. Can I see their sex scene? Like, this is what I want to see. Deadpool is going to be the first rated R one. Man, I really hope they don't fuck up Deadpool. I'm still like, I haven't really looked into that in a while, like what they're going to do with the whole Deadpool and the MCU thing. I am so worried. I'm so worried they're just gonna like fumble that and fuck it up. But who knows? But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to start wrapping it up, you guys. Thank you for tuning in for another session. Oh my God, my hair thing. I can't get my headphone. I appreciate you guys coming out, showing up and showing out. Last week I had to cancel last minute. I apologize, but I am now in a place where I am significantly less busy and stressed out. Can we get a round of applause? Maybe Daryn will finally stop talking about how busy she is. Not likely, but I have been, my boss has been on maternity leave since early June. So that has really fucking sucked. I've been basically doing the work of definitely two people and a little bit more, because I work at a startup. And when you work at a startup, like you do like 7 jobs in one. But so I have been on the struggle bus since she has been gone, and we have expanded as a company with unprecedented numbers in the time that she went on maternity. So she went on maternity leave and our company like almost like doubled. And so that's been super not fun for me because I work in like HR and people ops. And then for the last couple of months, I have been trying to fill the room in my house. So I've been trying to find a new roommate because my life partner, Chelsea, just decided to leave me and move out. No, she's doing good. She's going to go live a like happier, fuller life. But I had to fill the room in my house. So I was like also like kind of hesitant to talk about it when I was like in the process of it, just because like, I don't know, security reasons. But it's been like the most stressful process. To say I hated it was like an understatement, because it has felt like a second job. For real. Because like my entire job is just handling ad hoc requests and coordinating and trying to keep track of like 75 different people's like little things. And then to add on top of that, having to like weed through more people like inquiring about this space and just like not reading the listing. And then like basically I was like talking to people almost like every day for this goddamn room. And then it would like, then they would just like ghost me, or then there would be something, or like it was just so much like coordinating for like no results. And then we had someone and then they fell through, and then they didn't fall. It was just like so much back and forth. And then like all the while I'm like financially struggling because we had to like pay more for like the, this room being empty. And then my roommate, unfortunately doesn't really speak English very well, so he can't really like help. And so then it was just like me doing it by myself with like all this paperwork and like all this stuff. And it's been so fucking stressful, and I've hated it. It's literally just been like this cloud over my life, like eating up all my free time and stressing me out financially. And it's over, you guys. It is fucking over as of literally 2 days ago. So it's like So yeah, Daryn is significantly less stressed out because I am now no longer doing the work of two people, and I finally filled the room in my house. Oh, Phoenix 1011, thank you. That also a very generous super chat, you guys. Bless your sweethearts. Thanks for the internal review and chat. I appreciate it. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for participating. I'm happy, you guys. Like, I've literally woken up the last 2 days like significantly happier in my life. So yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, some of you know the struggle, Kevin 0326, trying to rent out a room before it fucking sucks. It's just like, we're gonna be sharing this like house with a person. Like, I want to make sure they actually like vibe with us and they're not crazy. I mean, I've lived in San Francisco for 10 years. I've had my fair share of Craigslist nightmares, but I've also had like some roommates that I'm like still friends with to this day. It's a fucking gamble, but you have to be like very diligent about it and be like very clear with people and really try to see what works. And because like everyone's living styles are different, it's not a good thing or it's not a bad thing. It's just like you have to be mindful of like what makes you feel comfortable like in your home, and try to find someone that's like compatible with that. And it's difficult. Yes, my bestie friend, my roommate Chelsea moved out. It's hard to, but we all lived together for 6 years, man. Like, I haven't had to find a roommate in a long time, and we were very lucky. We found like a simpatico, like it worked. So trying to find a new roommate has been a struggle for real. So that's just like a little life update. And like last week when I dropped out was like when I was dealing with the fallout of that other tenant falling out, and then like trying to scramble. I was basically like double stacking and trying to speak with a bunch of people and get a bunch of paperwork and applications to see like if I could fill the room as fast as possible. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to fill this room. So that's what I was dealing with. And also just trying to like hand off a lot of the work I've been doing to my boss since she was back. So yeah, that's me. A little bit about me. That's what's been going on. So yeah, I'll let you guys go now and stop talking about my life and myself. Simpatico. Oh, Mr. Anderson, it's been so long since I've had my simp puns. Thanks for coming back. I hope you guys all have a lovely, lovely evening. I'll be back next Wednesday. Oh, actually, I'm going to do a poll right now. Hold on. I'm going to do a poll. What time works? I feel like I keep asking this, but I'm going to ask again. I don't give a fuck, because I just need to figure out what works best for people. Because I do like it when more people show up, because then I have more people to interact with and more people to bounce my weird thoughts off of. So I'm going to ask you guys, what time works best for you? What time? I'll be as specific as possible, because last time I did this poll, I didn't even put like the time zone, and I was just like, it's bad. What time on Wednesdays works best for you? 6 p.m., 6:30, or 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're on the East Coast, that means 10 p.m. If you're in Central Time, that means 9 p.m. All the other time zones I don't know off the top of my head. So let me know what time on Wednesdays works best for you people. But that's what time I'll do next Wednesday. And then next Wednesday, what am I going to talk about? Got to look into that. Got to do some research, some think-tacking about things to come out. Because of the busyness of this last week, I haven't really had my finger on the pulse, other than, Although, one funny thing that I guess is nerdy related, Dan sent me a picture of the Hawkeye poster today, and he's like, tell me this does not look like an old school Disney Channel show, like poster, like advertisement. Like, tell me it does not, and it fucking did. Like, it really, really did. It made me like, I just do not know what to expect from that show anymore. I really don't. All right, let's look at some of these results. Okay, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. All right, okay. It looks like it's probably going to be 6 p.m. So, yeah. If 6 p.m. works for you guys, and 6 p.m. is what I shall do. So I will see you guys next week at 6 p.m. I love you dearly. I appreciate you. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy week to listen to my mind ramblings and validating the idea that I need to share my opinions with the world. So I appreciate that. You're the best.